Welcome back to my room, strawberries! Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Today, the pick-a pile is going to be what is holding you back. I'm going to leave it general and we're just going to see what comes through. So before we get into the piles, if you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, I have a website here and you can click on the link down below to see what it is that I offer. I also go live every single Wednesdays to do paid readings. I have a $35 option, a $55 option, and a $75 option. They all offer different things, but different price points for different people. And if you are a Supreme Strawberry, then you get $5 off every single live reading that you get, and you also get access to exclusive videos that are only for you and that collective. I will be uploading tomorrow for my Supreme Strawberries, a pick a pile, about October, like what you need to know about your October and what's coming. So if that's something you're interested to know, then hop on and the link is down below to join my membership. Other than that, let's get into the piles. So I'm doing the piles a little bit different today. I have 3 decks picked out, but I actually shuffled and asked Spirit to pull out a card for each individual pile. So I will be tapping on the cards for those of you that like tapping. If not, the timestamp is down below for the pick a pile where you can just see it and there's no tapping. But if you are an ASMR girly or boy, no, we don't gender discriminate around here, then welcome. This is pile 1. So we pulled the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is about long-term commitment. It's about slow movement. It's oftentimes something that you're maybe in a comfort zone. You maybe have a hard time moving out of your comfort zone or doing things that are exhilarating. On this card, there's a pink fairy with a white unicorn. Pile 2, I pulled the Queen of Wands. This card did come out in the reversed position, which could mean a struggle within your confidence, feeling insecurities, feeling a lack of protection, feeling out of control maybe. For pile 3, I pulled the Moon. So the Moon is about illusions, it's about confusion, it sometimes can be about deception. So maybe you're feeling confused. Maybe you're getting intuitive hits that you don't necessarily understand. Okay, so these are the piles, guys. We have the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and the Moon. So just to explain these cards, if you resonate with any of these meanings, the Knight of Pentacles is often about long-term commitment, moving slow. It can also represent somebody that is stuck in their comfort zone, has a hard time moving into excitement or new things. It also could mean you're working on something long-term, and that could be bringing some stagnancy into your life. We have the Queen of Wands here for pile 2, and it did come out in the reverse position, which could mean some insecurities are coming up, maybe a lack of confidence, feeling out of control, feeling powerless to something. So that's what we have here. And then for pile 3, we have the moon, which, this could be about secrets, it could be about illusions, not seeing things clearly. It could also be about having really strong intuitive hits but not understanding them, maybe having weird dreams and not understanding them. But ultimately, if you're feeling very confused, this definitely is a card that could represent that. If you chose this card, this is your reading. Let me fix the camera here. There we go. So let's see what is holding you back. What is holding you back right now? Send it out, please. Oh my goodness. It's actually coming through really clear. So I'm going to clarify here with my angel deck, but before I get into that, I'm going to explain the cards that I have out here. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, with the Devil. So the number 7 could be significant for you. I'm pretty sure the Devil is number 16, which is 7. So we literally have out here 777. 711 could be significant. What is holding you back right now is, I get the vibe that you have a grasp on something that you want to achieve. So this could be a new habits, this could be a feeling, it could be a new personality type, it could be a job, it could be a business, it could be attending more to a certain relationship in your life, working on a certain wound. Whatever it is, there's something here where you're like, I want to be better about this. But there's a lack of discipline towards something that's distracting you. So this isn't to say that whatever is distracting you is bad, but it is to say that you have a lack of balance with it. So this person is holding on to a pentacle, but they're stopping to smell a flower. And I'm literally getting this energy here that you are currently building something, but on the right side, this is where it gets complicated, because Seven of Pentacles with the Ace of Pentacles, these are really great cards. This is emotionally, I know what I want. Emotionally, I know where I want to go, and I know who I want to be, regardless of whatever that pertains to. On the right side, though, when it comes to your actions, Seven of Cups with the Devil. This is giving me the energy of indulgence, overindulgence. This is giving me the energy of enabling yourself. The energy I feel for you is that when it comes to discipline, there's almost a part of you that wants to rebel. So if you have had a childhood where, you were really strict, or you got invalidated a lot, or you weren't ever free to do what you wanted, you weren't free to hang out with who you wanted, maybe you weren't allowed to smoke and now you're a smoker. There's something here about rebellion that I'm getting, that it's like, okay, I want to be disciplined to this, but if I'm disciplined, I'm taking away my freedom. I'm taking away my fun. The Seven of Cups with the Devil, to me, gives this energy of, like, I'm committed, I know what I want, but then as soon as a distraction comes in, you're like, oh my God, pretty flower, ooh, this is so fun. And then before you know it, you're like out clubbing with your friends. Like, that's a bad example, but something along the lines of that. So at the cost of a lack of stability, like stable, and it's interesting that the card was the Knight of Pentacles. So it almost feels like the reason I'm pulling that card for this pile is because you need to commit consistently to something in order to see its benefit. So there's a need for balance. There's a need to recognize where in my life am I overindulging, And where can I choose to say, okay, before I overindulge in this, let me make sure that I'm doing a disciplined task first and I'm fully present in that. And then my reward is whatever it is that would have distracted me prior, that would have caused me to not do that disciplined task. So there's a need for discipline here right now. What's holding you back is the fact that you're enabling yourself in certain areas. A lot of you guys, I feel like it's connection. I don't know, maybe it's one person, maybe it's like hanging out with friends. For some of you guys, I feel like it could be like smoking in some way. Like smoking, I think it's beautiful. It's a great way to relax. I'm not against like Mary Jane, but there could be an overindulgence where you do it and then doing it then is just like you're in this like lazy, fun, flowing energy, and it's not something that you want to take into this kind of endeavor, into this kind of person you want to be, you know, whoever this is. So there's a need for discipline. There's a need to be like, what am I overgiving to, and how can I make that a reward instead of something that I'm just blatantly giving to, something that I'm just openly giving my energy to. So I'm not kidding. I'm using my angel deck now to clarify. Seeing the time at 555, you could be seeing 555. Whoever is in this pile, you're going through a really big energetic shift of, it's like a personality shift. I feel like the people that I'm reading for are actually trying to change certain patterns in your life. So it almost feels like it's like a habit or a lifestyle that you're trying to shift. But on the bottom of the deck, we have giving and receiving in the reversed position. Lack of balance, literally a lack of balance. Okay, let me pull here for you guys. Okay. Something I get here, enabling is the word that I want to use. I think you enable yourself because of a childhood wound, right? Like it's like, well, I deserve to do this, so I'm going to do it. I deserve to do this, so I'm going to do it all day, every day. Where it's like, that's not actually like honorable towards yourself. It doesn't make you feel proud of yourself. It's coming from a space of rebellion. So it's coming from a space of trauma. Something I get for you with this task or with who you want to be, there's almost this passive energy of like, oh, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Law of attraction is on the bottom. Release and surrender came out in the reverse position. Change in direction upright. Your energy is kind of like, if I'm just following my heart, like everything will go the way it's supposed to go, you know, and I'll just like flow with life. That mindset is beautiful. But life does require discipline, and manifestations do require a level of discipline. Do you need to be focused on it 24/7 all the time to the point where you're burnt out? Absolutely not. But do you need to just not put any effort in and just like poke at it here and there? That's not going to get you far. So if you're even in a relationship, if you're being super passive in a relationship and you're laid back and you're not putting much effort into it, your partner isn't going to feel very valued, you know, because you're not showing them consistency. You're not showing them, you know, the discipline in a relationship shows, I think, commitment. You know, it shows that that person is sacrificing a little bit of discomfort to make sure that you feel loved just as much as you may do the same for them. And it's the same with a business endeavor, you know, it's the same with a lifestyle change, it's the same with a habit, is you have to nurture that every single day with full commitment. And then then you can go with the flowing energy. But what's actually creating the momentum is your actions and your choices. So right now there is kind of a lack of like accountability towards what it is that you can create that you use to excuse overgiving to something. So there's kind of this need here to take responsibility for like, okay, I can create this, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to create discipline in my life every single day, and I'm going to be the one to make this change. I'm going to be the one to see the progress. And that's a really beautiful thing, because when you start to see the progress, you're not just blaming it on luck. You're not just blaming it on the universe. You get to say, I made that change. I created that for myself, and that is like creates a big sense of pride. It creates trust with yourself. And it's almost like a sense of maturity, I think, that's really important, is that I am responsible for my life. I get to co-create my life. I get to choose, what makes me feel good and what doesn't. I get to choose how I grow and how I expand. And I think that's something that your inner child like sees discipline as restriction, instead of seeing it as a sense of like an opportunity for pride, an opportunity to be proud of yourself. And then the next two cards here with the Seven of Cups and then time to go. The Devil is literally being clarified with time to go, which tells me that this habit you have, this enabling energy towards yourself, this overgiving, like a compulsive, overindulgence energy, they're like, we need to let this go. This is something that isn't benefiting you right now. The Seven of Cups is being clarified with opportunity to forgive. So I think that ultimately this situation, it doesn't even feel like, when you enable yourself, I don't think it feels good for you. I think it feels like instant gratification. It's like you might give to something, or like you over give to something, and then you end up being like, damn, like I don't feel proud of myself. Like, why did I do that? And there's kind of this energy here where you're just like kind of always in this cycle where you learn to forgive yourself, and you get to say, okay, I understand that this is hard for me because my inner child never got this freedom, and now it's hard to balance, and that is true and that is real. But I want to prove to myself that I can be better. So first, the forgiveness comes from recognizing why it's so difficult. And then when you move forward with change, it's coming from empathy. And then that forgiveness grows and grows and grows, because an apology without change is manipulation. So if you're apologizing to yourself and you don't change, you're dishonoring yourself, and that's not going to make you feel proud of yourself. So that's something that comes through really loud. Is for this pile, the main thing is find balance within a consistent commitment to a goal that you have. And after you've committed to that every single day, one step, then you can flow. But make sure you're prioritizing this commitment. Okay, I love you. I really hope this resonated. Let me know in the comments down below how this pile resonated for you. It came through very clear, and I feel like whoever I'm talking to, you're very self-aware. So let me clear my spread, and we were gonna get to pile number 2. If you chose the Queen of Wands, then this is your pile. This is your reading. Let's see what is currently holding you back. What is currently holding? 5. I did that 5 times. A tattoo on your left arm, or like right here, could be significant. Roses could be significant as well. Wow, this is so interesting because I feel like this is almost like the opposite of pile 1. I want to preface immediately that this does speak of something that's already in your life, or something that like you're wanting. I think for a lot of you guys, it could be about like wanting a relationship, or wanting romance, wanting a certain dream. Maybe it's like, I want to be a dancer, I want a healthy relationship, I want to move, I want to be a content creator. Like there's something here that you feel is possible and you're working towards it, but you don't like have it yet. Something that's holding you back is your idea of timing. So, like I said in pile 1, I'm going to use pile 1 as an example, is that if you ignore timing and you ignore responsibility of your actions, and you're just like, everything is just gonna happen when it's supposed to, like I gotta go with the flow, that will sometimes lead you out of balance because it's causing you, that mindset is causing you to have an enabling energy towards yourself where you're not consistently taking action to build something. And if you're going to build a building, you can't just put one brick on every single day. You know, that's going to take you a very long time as in comparison to if you were to commit a few hours to building that building every single day. So I think that this pile is the opposite. I think that this pile is, you're somebody that is very emotionally mature. You're coming out as the King of Cups, and I love this. I think you are analytical, I think you're spiritual, and I think you are psychologically smart. You might be someone that processes your emotions. You might be somebody that oftentimes is like, I have a hard time even like feeling my feelings because I'm so aware of them. You could be someone that people come to advice for. Ultimately, you're like very intelligent when it comes to emotions. But the thing is, I think this is kind of your enemy because it causes you to overanalyze everything. I'm literally getting this energy of like, I gotta do this, and if I do this, then it'll lead to this, and if it lead this, then it'll be good to that, and then it'll lead me to this, and then I'll be good, and I'll be responsible, and I'm being productive every day. And there's almost a level here where the first card that's coming through is the Page of Cups in the reverse position, and I almost feels like there's an abandonment towards your inner child. So you could have abandonment wounds. Your inner child could have been abandoned. Your inner child could have been invalidated. Your inner child could have always felt like you needed to be something, you needed to act a certain way, you needed to show up in a certain way, you had to perform in a certain way in order to be good, in order to be loved. And so that for you has manifested into emotional intelligence, where if I'm always on my own ass, if I'm always aware of what's going on inside of me and outside of me and how I'm responding to everything around me, then I'm going to be successful and I'm going to get everything that I want. So coming back to the Queen of Wands reversed, this is like about confidence, and confidence is about action. You know, your solar plexus is about your masculine energy, which is about how you take action. And I think you take action from a space of fear that if you don't, you're not going to get what you want. And that's actually pushing whatever it is that you want further away. Because I have to say that you are actually, whoever I'm reading for, you're actually very close to a manifestation. Or it might even be in your life and you don't even see it. But the only thing that's holding you back is you're holding on to an idea of something so tight. Or it's like you're holding on to the version of you that is deserving it. So it's like, I need to deserve this. In order to deserve this, I have to do this and I have to do that. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, this is mine. Like, to deserve indicates that there needs to be an action taken to be worthy, instead of just saying, I'm worthy as I am. I'm worthy because I want it. I'm worthy because I want it. I think that's even an affirmation that could be useful for this pile, but there is this level here of discipline that I think you put on yourself that is intentionally trying to be loving, but comes through as very damaging. It's like if your parents were always like really hard on you in a negative way, you're like, okay, I don't want to be hard on myself. So it manifests in being hard on yourself in a way that's more healthy. Your parents are hard on yourself in an unrealistic space. You know, maybe they're like, you need to be a lawyer. You need to act like this. You need to be more like your brother or more like your sister. You need to be like this and this and this. You're like, that's unrealistic. I'm my own person. So now that's manifested for you in like, okay, I'm going to be hard on myself, but in a way that's healthy. So I'm always processing my emotions. I'm always doing this and I'm always doing that. And it's like you're always trying to prove to yourself that you're worthy, where it's like your guides need you to embody a mindset where you're worthy just because you are who you are, not because of what you're doing. Okay, let's see some oracle that comes through for this. Should I take that? Send it out, please. No, that resonated so much, actually. I'm taking that. Okay, Snow White could be significant. Maybe you should watch Snow White, I don't know. But Snow White and her animal friends, you inspire trust and confidence here. This is number 9, which is confirmation for me that you are very, very close to a new cycle, and things might be feeling really heavy right now. You might have more negative thoughts than usual, more insecurities than usual. Maybe your mind is racing a lot more than usual. This is because you're about to break out of a cycle. And what this is about your inner child. This is about who you are, not what you do. This is about a version of you that never got seen. What's holding you back is not believing that who you are is special, and instead believing that what you do is more special than who you are. So pretty much saying, I'm special because I'm smart. I'm special because I have knowledge. I'm special because I can help people. Instead of saying, my knowledge is special because of who I am. I'm smart and it is helpful to others because of my personal perspective. Like, you're disconnecting the tools or the skills that you have, and you're putting them as just like, this is a skill, instead of this skill is amplified by my energy, by who I am. There's beautiful artists. There's so many artists. An artist is an artist, right? That's amazing. But every single artist offers something different because of their perspective, because of their unique style of art. That is something that they're wanting you to embody here, is what is unique about my skill? How do I make something that's boring amplified from who I am? And this doesn't even have to be something physical. This can literally just be who you are, attributes that you have, and that energy being brought into projects is so loud. So your inner child is like, I am inspiring to others because of who I am. And they need you to reconnect with this and focus less on doing this or doing that. 2 kittens is clarifying. Ace of Pentacles. Siamese cats could be significant. Persian cats could be significant. Or you could just literally have 2 cats. But obviously the meaning of this card with the Ace of Pentacles is feeling as if you have to choose. Always choose something, always choose to do something instead of just flowing. And then one more. Yeah, King of Cups is being clarified here with once upon a midnight dreary, creativity, genius writing, expression, artistic flow. And this is mirroring Snow White, the inspiration card. My advice to this pile is to recognize where you are putting expectations on yourself from a space of logic. Where do I define myself or my sense of action, my sense of power, my sense of confidence from something that I have or something that I do, and diminish that with the skill itself instead of looking at how I make that special. So this is seeing you. This is seeing the skill and seeing that you are behind the skill. Something that you do is special. Something that could help you with this is reconnecting with your inner child, writing down a list of everything that your inner child loved to do and reconnecting with that part of yourself to see how special you are, to see that, you have an amazing laugh, to see that you make people smile, to see that you are someone that is shining a light on others' life so that anything that you do is special. Not just one skill, not just 2 skills. Anything that you do is going to be special because of the light that you are. Okay, that was so beautiful. I really loved reading that energy. Let me know down below in the comments how that resonated for you. I'm sending you so much love. And now let me clear my spread and we'll get to pile number 3. If you chose the moon, then this is your reading. So let's see. What is holding you back? What is holding you back right now? Wow, the moon just came out. That's crazy. I feel like you are avoiding reflecting on something because you're afraid that if you do, you're going to have to make a decision that's going to be hard. A lot of you guys, this is about a friend group, it's about a friend, it's maybe even about a relationship. Take that how it resonates, but we have the Three of Cups in the reverse position, which usually speaks of friendship. We have the Moon, King of Swords, the Tower in the reverse position, Four of Pentacles on the bottom, Four of Swords with the Knight of Swords. There is something here that you feel has a foggy energy, but when it comes to your actions, you are consistently excusing behavior, you're like invalidating your intuition with logic because you're afraid that if you validate yourself, and this feels kind of subconscious, that you're going to have to speak on a conversation, you're going to have to set a boundary, you're maybe going to have to cut someone off, and you know that if you do, it's going to cause you to have a breakdown of an identity that you once had related to, I would say, settling or invalidating yourself. You're settling. What's holding you back is that you're settling for something that you know isn't good for you, but you're holding on to it because you're afraid of who you're going to be or what's going to happen if this ends. And you're also afraid of actually being the one to communicate or setting a certain boundary, and you're afraid of what that is going to bring. You're afraid of change. That's literally the energy, is being afraid of change, so you're holding on to something that isn't serving you. I think a lot of you guys, this is a friend group, I have to say. It's like certain friends, and it's almost people that are giving you the illusion of satisfaction. People that fill up space. They fill up space, they fill up time, but they don't inspire you, they don't make you feel like treasured or cared for, or maybe you don't feel very safe around these people. But with that being said, it's because this energy is here, you've maybe never had anything better, and I think that's where the King of Swords comes through. The King of Swords in this context is coming through as like, well, like, we've been friends for so long, so, you know, it's like, there's no need to do anything about it, well, it's like, well, they're not like damaging me, like, they're not like consciously hurting me, like, they're not like being so terrible, so, it's fine, whatever. When in reality, I think that the person that you want to be does not align with these people. And as much as we hate to say it, you are the people you hang around. If you are trying to find motivation or inspiration to be a certain kind of person, and your entire friend group doesn't represent that, it's going to be really fucking hard. It's going to feel like you're trying to swim to the top, and constantly someone's trying to pull your ankle, and they're pulling you down, and they're pulling you down, and they're pulling you down. And that's not necessarily to say that you don't have a choice, because you absolutely have a choice to have these people in your life and act the way that they act, or recognize that you don't like that and still be friends with them, still interact with them, but not embody their lifestyle. That is absolutely a choice, but it is going to be very, very difficult to, after being in that energy, being in the version of you that settles, then going to this version of you that doesn't settle, this version of you that wants different things. Then you're going to be confused, and this version of you is going to have a hard time breaking out of their shell because you have this comfort zone. So like, that's kind of the energy here, is there's like a fear of actually ending something or actually seeing something for what it is. But I think the reason it is so big and it's so scary is because you know that when you cut this out, there's going to be a big change in certain habits, in ways that you show up for yourself. It's like there's a complete lifestyle change, there's a complete personality change that you will undergo when you end this. And there's a part of you that's afraid of that. I encourage you to reflect on this. I encourage you to reflect on, if I were to completely let these people go, or if I were to completely commit to a new version of myself and recognize how they would affect that, what would that look like? What would it look like if I were to cut them out? How would that feel? What would it look like if I were to fully commit to a version of me and still speak to them? Does it make it harder? Like, really reflect on every outcome here. And I think it's really important to don't make excuses. Don't excuse certain behaviors. Don't invalidate your feelings. Be realistic with yourself. How do they actually make me feel? So if you're saying, I'm going to fully commit to myself and still be friends with them, your King of Swords energy might be like, oh, well, like, yeah, it would be kind of hard, but that's fine. That's not their fault. No, we're not thinking like that. The energy here is going to be, yeah, they would make it harder. Okay, noted. They would make it harder. We're not making excuses. We're not invalidating our feelings. We're saying, yes, they would make it harder for me to arise. And that is something that you need to reflect on. But I think there is like a level of like excusing here. Okay, let me pull now on this. Okay, let's see what comes through. Guys, I love doing these self-reflective readings. This is so fun. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Guys, this is so loud. So, on the bottom here, we have Sea Beacon Fairy. It says guidance, but where will it lead you? That reflects what I'm saying here, as you have so much guidance within you, but you're afraid of where it's going to lead. You're afraid of where it's going to take you, so you avoid it. This is holding you back. Avoidance towards how you actually feel is holding you back. Staying around with people that aren't elevating you is holding you back. Stopping yourself from reflecting on how you actually feel is holding you back. Clarifying the Three of Cups reverse, which is talking about like these friends or this friend group here, we have Angel of Time, working too hard. This card, clarifying this, literally tells me that these people are enabling. These are the kind of people that are like, take a break, have a beer, like take a break, like go have fun. They're not someone that's going to inspire you. They're not someone that's going to see the benefit of discipline. They are someone that is going to literally enable you to a version of you that doesn't push yourself, that stays in your comfort zone. That is where these people are in their life. Next, we have the Moon, which is the card of confusion. We have two little witches. This card says magical space clearing time. Space clearing time. This is literally saying that if you don't want to be confused anymore, you have to look at the reality of this situation and how these people affect you. How do they make you a better person? Do they make you feel proud of yourself? Do they keep you stagnant and stuck? Do they enable you into, even if having them in your life, you could still say, I'm not proud of myself for doing this, but they do it too, so it's fine. You could enable yourself with even having people like this in your life, and they give you a reason to enable you to do something that maybe doesn't make you feel proud of yourself. Ghost of the Pumpkin Patch, count your blessings with the King of Swords. Sweet memories. Wow. Oh my God, this is so loud. Holy shit. King of Swords with count your blessings. This has given me the energy here of, like I said, looking at what they actually bring into your life. If they're not bringing much into your life, something's got to go. Something's got to go and something's got to change. The Tower in the reverse position is being clarified by Dried Flower Fairy, Sweet Memories. This is the energy here of like, oh, I've had good times with these people. I love them. We have gone through so much together, but that doesn't change the fact that you've outgrown each other. And then we have Witch at the End of the World, an important end, a new beginning. Something needs to end. Something needs to end. Even if you have memories, even if you went through stuff together, sometimes people are just there for half of the book and the rest of the book is yours to write. this feels like that kind of situation, but obviously I'm not going to sit here and decide on whether you should stay with these people, whether you should go, but it is your job to recognize that, yes, I am avoiding looking at the situation out of fear that my life is going to change without them, or I'm going to have to set boundaries, or I'm going to become a new version of myself that I'm scared of. That is something that needs to be looked at right now, and it is keeping you stagnant. 11:11 as I'm finishing this. Please let me know down below in the comments how that reading resonated for you. I think that one was like very specific. It might have been the most specific one out of all of them. I love doing these self-reflective readings for you guys, like these pick-a-piles. I have a lot of ideas from you guys that you gave me in my last video, but please always drop down below any ideas that you have for pick-a-piles. I really love your suggestions. You guys are so creative and it really helps me, and I think it helps us work as a team because then we both get what we want. I get some fun ideas to do and you are receiving the ideas that you've given. So please subscribe, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to me and support my channel. It really means so much. And like the video, show some love, turn on my post notifications so you don't miss when I upload, and you also don't miss when I go live. If you want to join my membership, it's linked down below. And I will see you, strawberries, in my next video.